been such a long time. I can't believe it. The last time we had a new Tool album was whenever it was my last year of school. I think, something like that. Jesus, time flies whenever you're getting old. But here we are, 2015, Maynard James Keenan and Puscifer. Yeah, Puscifer. That's what I meant the whole time. Puscifer. New Puscifer album, Money Shots. Came out this past Friday, which was a day before Halloween. Ooh, spooky. And we have to talk about it here because this is a very important album. It's not only important for fans of Puscifer, myself included, considering Conditions of My Parole was the non-metal album of the year whenever it was released, because it was a great work. It was a phenomenal album, and so there's a lot that Puscifer needs to do to follow up on that and try to recapture that magic, recapture that majesty, and try and take the award twice in a row. But also, it's important considering I need to have a little heart-to-heart with Tool fans. But before we do all that, let's get things out of the way first that need to be done, like, you know, hitting my music. So why listen to Money Shot? Why listen to Puscifer at all? I mean, we're all Tool fans here, right? So Maynard James Keenan's comments should have been insulting. We should have just been pissed off about... Let's take a step back for a moment and examine what makes Puscifer a truly great band, and we'll do that by talking about Money Shot and a little bit about Conditions for My Parole, considering we didn't do an album review of that whenever it was released, and yet somehow it was the rock album of the year on this channel back in 2011 whenever it came out. So what does it all mean? Well, it means a lot of different things, actually. Money Shot feels very much like a spiritual successor to Conditions for My Parole, considering it takes one of its core atmospheric properties, one of the best elements that Conditions boasted, and transforms it into pretty much a whole album. That portion is the idea where Maynard and company are able to expand their compositions a little bit more and give it a little bit more airy atmosphere, give it a little bit more room to breathe. And when this occurs, it takes that experimentative side, that more alternative meets post-industrial, that Trent Reznor meets Maynard James Keenan, with Maynard James Keenan winning the musical fight. It takes it to that level. And that is where Conditions really prospered, but it's where Money Shot really excels. From the onset of this album, listening to tracks such as Galileo and Agnostia, you really get a lot of this feel. And really, whenever Grand Canyon premiered a couple of months ago, you got that feeling a little bit as well. Simultaneous, which is track number 4, is truly a unique bird, though. This is one that combines all of that experimentative, airy atmosphere, but throws something, a bit of a curveball, I guess, congratulations Casey Royals, into the mix by, instead of there being lyrics here, we're instead treated to what sounds like somebody's conversation. It's a conversation all about a gentleman that they met, one that was kind of radical, had a very different philosophy of life, and was very much their own individual. And in a way, it sounds like this person that is speaking is actually talking about Maynard James Keenan. Probably not true. However, this is also a man who has a bonus song, or a secret song on a Tool album, actually an EP, that's entitled Maynard's Dicks, so it wouldn't be totally 100% out of character. What really helps this track excel is that behind it, we have soft music that really continues on that very spacey, that very airy, that breathe that each of these songs thus far have been able to possess. So this interview takes on the feel of one that's taking place in a very sit-down setting, very similar to where we are right now, where perhaps the interviewer or the person who is delivering this information is listening to this music in the background, this Puscifer song in the background, while talking about exactly what it was about this man that truly captivated them. We go from there into the title track, which is Money Shot, which honestly feels a little bit weak by comparison to what we've experienced with the first 4 tracks. It feels like a gapper, or one that bridges part A or side A to side B. And believe me, this is a gap that you will be excited to really hear end. And I think that's actually, in one way, why it comes off as a weaker track, because of what's to come. We get to The Arsonist, The Remedy. We get to Smoke and Mirrors, Life of Brian, apparently you haven't seen. and Autumn. The second half of this album basically does what Conditions was able to do only on a few tracks, and excels at it. In some ways, The Arsonist and The Remedy, with their tremendous atmosphere, with the building blocks coming together one by one, piece by piece, instead of it being something that's thrust on you all at once, and sort of left to just hypnotize you. It puts you in this hypnosis. That alone makes them, perhaps, better than anything that Conditions offered, which is a lofty statement indeed. But the thing of it is that as you continue through Side B with tracks such as Smoke and Mirrors and Life of Brian, this theme continues to come up. And it's not one that gets dull or drab. It's not one that overstates itself or really overstays its welcome. It's instead one that really showcases the craftsmanship that took place in building these songs and placing them together. And it is also backboned by a fantastic, fantastic flow. It's to the point that whenever you finally hit Autumn and you get past this 6-minute finale, you feel the calm, airy eeriness that Puscifer is able to haunt and deliver on a constant basis now. It's almost as though Peach, the band that featured one member of Tool, and actually gave them You Lied, which was eventually on a Tool EP, it's like they became resurrected a little bit and combined with this new product, this Trent Reznor meets Maynard James Keenan thing, this metaphor. And somehow, some way, they have crafted something worth mentioning, and they've crafted something that should be on the tongues of many music fans. This is a 92 out of 100 album. This is one that the second half alone really grants picture perfect what an alternative disc is all about. The creative minds coming together, something that feels very unconventional. None of these tracks really feel like they would belong on alternative radio, especially whenever you consider what it's populated by here in 2015. This would not go well with the Five Finger Death Punch Disturbed Buffet. This is instead one that would feel like the odd band out. If Disturbed and Five Finger Death Punch are your meats, Puscifer would almost sound like a salad. But that's where it works. That's where it becomes really the upper echelon, because where you have something that's very basic, something that's very conventional, you are now offset by something that is exceptionally the 1%. It is exceptionally unique. But what do you guys think about Money Shot? Do you feel that these statements are correct? Or do you think that I'm just blowing smoke and Tool should just come back? Because guess what? Here's the heart. They don't need to. Tool wouldn't have to come back. Their legacy has already been cemented. It would just be nice if they would come back. And we're probably just a little cheesed off because Maynard may have hurt our feelings. But Maynard's a huge troll. Come on now. Let's be a little bit realistic here. Let's take a step back and realize that you can't exactly look at the words that Maynard James Keenan states the same way that perhaps an Ivan Moody would state them. Mainly because there's a lot of subtlety, there's a lot of subtext, and in many ways, Maynard just says the stuff and later on laughs about it. So, take a chill pill. Tool will probably be back, and if they don't, it's not a big loss. Not as big as you think. But what did you guys think about this? Let me know in the comments below. But one final thing before we go, and I just want to thank each and every one of you who have made it this far, for not only watching this video, but for watching my stuff in the past. It's really great to be back, considering I took a couple weeks to sort of lay low, relax, do a couple things, including starting another channel called CKN vs. the World. So if you could subscribe to that, that'd be really awesome. We're going to talk about all sorts of things in pop culture and really talk about this world and deconstruct all of the sort of weird things about it, one topic at a time. But also, there's a Patreon page, and it's really hard for me to say this, but I've been going strong for 5 years, and I've been doing this essentially without any help, and I need the help now. So, if you'd be so kind as to check it out, the link is in the description also. I would really be appreciative of that, and you guys would certainly be great friends. If you happen to donate, I am even more thankful. There's a lot of great goals, a lot of great things that I would love to do with this channel as well as others, and just overall talking with me about music with you guys that are really all over there and spelled out. So I hope that you do check that out, and if you do, I'm thankful. I'm Cover Killer Nation. I got theme music. That's new. Check this album out. Money Shot's really good.